Mic'd up.
And welcome everybody to Mic'd Up from the PGA Tour. This week it's the 154th Open Championship from Royal Birkdale Golf Club, Southport, England. I'm John Rager, your Mic'd Up PGA broadcaster, and your host of this episode called Wild Bill's Golf Weather Report, coming to you from our Mic'd Up studio in St. Augustine, Florida, and from the home of, I guess it's the home course, we should call it, of WildBill Thoreau, located at the Backyard Golf Course Association headquarters in Gainesville, Florida. How did I do with that? Is that what? Where in the hell are you? Tell us where you are.
I'm just west of Gainesville, between Gainesville and Newberry, out in the rural area where we're unincorporated, and it's the home golf course of the Backyard Golf Association, the BGA.
Okay, man, I'll have to do better next week on this intro. Okay. Hey, so not only will we hear about the weather forecast, which always plays an integral part of the outcome, we'll also include some banter about some of the special things surrounding this event, being the last major championship of the year, in which the Royal and Ancient Golf Club will name the champion golfer of the year. So now it's time for Wild Bill Thoreau for his take on this week's weather report, coming to you from the 154th Open Championship.
Woohoo! And a chip cheerio to you, John. I just finished trekking in the Scottish coast and walked the stone border, that wee stone border, where I crossed over to merry old England, a chip to the northwest coast here as Wild Bill's Golf Weather Report follows the PGA Tour to Royal Birkdale Golf Club for the 154th Open Championship.
I just saw you hold up I hope it's a warm lager. I've got my tea here, so I'm holding my pinky up, right? Because this is we're in England now, right?
It's an iced lager, but it is a lager indeed. See, okay. So the Open Championship, Chip, is considered golf's oldest and most unique major championship in the last one of the year, as you said. That's 154 years of quirky traditions, bizarre rule incidents, and distinctly challenging playing conditions that a course that is heavily influenced by the weather and separates this championship from all others. Additionally, the Open Championship is exclusively played in Northern Ireland, Scotland, and England, chip, rotating throughout the prestigious Coastal Links golf courses for the last 154 years. Now, that's a lot of tradition, John, and there is absolutely no way I can cover what this tournament represents. So I'm picking 3 Wild Bill favorite fun facts about the Open Championship before we talk about golf weather.
Yeah, because what's throwing me off here is it's 154th. And but they did start in 1860.
You're going to learn some.
Math, I'm sure there's a few world wars in the middle of it. They probably didn't play it, I would imagine.
And there's a very interesting story that you're about to hear regarding that. So we're going to talk about the jug. We're going to talk about the square baskets, and we're going to talk about the sheep. Let's start with the trophy. Now, the trophy was actually upgraded due to a hat trick in 1870. In golf, a hat trick is when somebody wins the same tournament 3 times in a row. The famous Claret jug was not the original prize. The original trophy was called the Challenge Belt, and it was made of Moroccan red leather with a big silver buckle. And what happened, the quirky rule that we're going to talk about is that if anybody won 3 consecutive titles in a row, they were able to keep that belt permanently. And in 1870, young Tom Morris, with his 3rd consecutive win, triggered that clause, resulting in a canceled tournament in 1871 because there was no trophy to award.
No, you got to be kidding me. You mean
they didn't have a trophy, right?
They had to put in a bottle of scotch or something.
Well, you would think they would do that. So that forced all the hosting clubs to pool their monies together and create the new Golf Champion Trophy, or the Claret Jug, in 1873. A chip cheerio to all of them, right, John? Now we move on to Wild Bill's fun fact number 2. Okay, second fun fact at the Open Championship is going to be those crazy square golf baskets. If you look at the tournament practice area facilities carefully during the week, you're going to see the driving range uses square baskets instead of the traditional round ones that we use over the pond where you guys are at. That is because these links courses have such extreme, unrelenting winds that standard round baskets frequently blow over, spill golf balls down, and golfers start tripping all over themselves. So they have square baskets instead. They remain completely anchored to the turf, Can you imagine that the winds are so strong that they can blow a basket over and you're getting ready to tee off in 5 minutes? I
Hey, you
guess
know
some,
what? I mean, I guess over here we're so commercialized. Like with the Masters, you can buy just about everything, every accessory that's on the course, anything that they use for the tournament. I bet you they'd make a lot of money if they would sell those baskets online. The Open Championship
square
range baskets.
baskets.
You only have to
Well,
put a logo on them. I bet you those will be. Yeah, you can use them for your laundry or something
I got
if you don't have any other use for it.
I got the logo. The logo should be it's good to be square.
Or be
Okay,
square,
good to
be
be
square.
square. Be
Be there
square.
or be square.
Dare
That's
to
what
be
be there or be
dare to
square.
be square. Dare to be
There you
square.
go. Okay.
There we go.
Let's
Okay.
move on to that because everybody who's like 98 years old got that, but our younger viewers are like, what are you guys talking about?
Oh, you are probably correct, but they might get this. And last but least is Wild Bill's fun fact number 3, the bad sheep. Believe it or not, original bunkers in the link style courses way back when were made by sheep. Unlike you courses across the pond where they're made by architects, where most you Yanks play, links bunkers have a wild biological origin. Centuries ago, coastal sheep burrowed holes into the sand dunes to shelter themselves from the harsh sea Irish winds. As golf evolved, golfers began playing around these craters, which eventually evolved into these deep, sheer-faced pot bunkers that torment our players today. That's perhaps how we got the phrase of a bad day at the course.
Oh my goodness. I tell you what, in all my years, I've never heard that. That is really something.
So now the Royal Birkdale Golf Club is a traditional coastal links golf club, and this course is not for the bombers, nor is it for the faint of heart. Okay, strong coastal winds, challenging extreme weather conditions, static and strategic course layouts can really test a golfer's grit here. Weather conditions completely dictate play at Royal Birkdale Golf Club, heavily altering how the course plays day to day and maybe even hour to hour. Hot, dry conditions and extended sunshine cause the fairways to green up and become incredibly firm and fast, increasing ball roll, while coastal winds and rain introduce unpredictable ball flights and involvement throughout the rounds. The ball runs farther off the tee, forcing players to hit longer, more precise irons to keep away from those deep bunkers.
Well, I saw on the Golf Channel on the pregame stuff that there's like a 600-yard par five. If the wind's blowing a certain way, it's a driver 9-iron to a
Yep,
600-yard
yep.
par five.
They
If the
actually
wind's blowing the right way, if it's blowing the other way, it may beat
it might be a
drivers or
10.
even three-wood. Yeah.
Tight landing areas become very challenging to keep the ball in the short grass because it's rolling so far, so the players have to play more conservatively off the tee. But the major impact of this course is, like you said, John, it is the wind. And with any traditional golf course, ocean breezes heavily impact shot trajectory, crosswinds make distance control and accuracy approaches highly challenging, while strong wind gusts can dramatically alter scores, even on unexposed holes. With that being
Okay.
said, this
Yeah.
week's weather conditions for the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale Golf Club is hot by English standards. Chip, chip. Royal Birkdale is currently experiencing an unusually hot temperatures, minimal rain, and mild winds, resulting in a firm and fast course conditions. Okay, Thursday it's going to be sunny and hot. And when I say hot, that's 82 degrees. Anything above 80 is hot in England. Ah, chip, chip. Okay, the winds will be 8 to 14 miles an hour with gusts up to 20 and a minimal chance of rain. Okay, Friday, mostly cloudy with a pinch of sunshine. Okay, more traditionally sunny type of day in merry old England, chip, chip, and a slightly more comfortable temperature of 70 degrees. Whew, a little warm there. Okay, with the north winds of 8 to 14 and a slight chance of scattered showers. So, John, don't forget your umbrella on Friday. Okay. And on Saturday, I'd keep that umbrella on your back hindside because Saturday brings in the clouds. A beautiful English morning with a high of 75 degrees and a 20% chance of showers, and north winds again of 8 to 14 miles an hour. The winds are getting kind of buoyant, okay? So that leads us to Sunday, a cloudy day, as Dora would say, a temperature of 72, 20% chance of showers with winds 8 to 14 miles an hour. You best be keeping your hand on your hat so it doesn't blow into the Irish Sea.
Hey, all these golf weather reports all throughout the year on the PGA Tour, you have absolutely nailed it. When it rained at the Memorial, you nailed it. Okay. Last week at the Scottish Open, I learned a new term called the har.
Ahar.
The fog rolling in, and they actually had to suspend play. And they had to delay play and suspend play because of the har and
Ahar.
the fog, and so it came in. So what do you think is going to be the major weather event this week? Then is it the heat, like you just said?
I think it's
Is
going to
there
be
anything out of the ordinary that's going to happen here? Do you think?
well, I don't think anything's going to be out of the ordinary, except people might not be familiar with how to play the winds. Okay. But if the greens and the fairways are as dry as they think they may be, okay, balls could be rolling to places that players may not think that they're going. Maybe a lot more iron play and a little less driver play. We shall see.
Wow.
So, let's see. That means this week, the balls are going to be rolling freely in all directions, okay, especially on those newly elevated greens. They did that a couple of years back. The balls are going to be rolling fast on those narrow fairways and possibly into the rough. Ball flights are going to be predictably unpredictable with those gusty Northern Irish winds, forcing players to rely on precise long iron shots, trying to stop those balls on a shilling. We say shilling in England because we don't have dimes in England. We have shillings, okay?
I
Not
wonder what
easy.
the exchange rate is on a shilling and a dime.
I don't know. I guess we have to look it up.
Okay,
How
that'll be
about
our
a how
trivia
about
question for next week.
a
If anybody's
shilling?
listening to this,
A,
what's the exchange rate for a shilling in U.S. dollars, everybody?
an
The
ex-
first person that answers that question, if you email john.rager at pj.com, john.rager at pj.com, we'll give you 2 free rounds of golf. How
there
about
you
that?
go. A
All
shilling
right,
for your thoughts, right?
exactly.
Okay, so this is going to force players to rely on precise long iron shots, trying to stop those balls on a shilling, which is not easy. My advice to them is you need to control your drives, avoid the hazards, sink your putts, and feel the winds. The winds are going to talk to you.
Oh, no.
It should be an exciting open, John. I
Well,
cannot wait.
you talk about voices in your head. The wind is talking to you. Oh my
No,
goodness.
the winds and the weathers talk to me all the time. That's why you get such an accurate weather report. Chip, chip, cheerio. Now, with that being said, it should be an exciting open. Can't wait to see the winner. We're going to say a chip, chip, cheerio to the winner. Now, with that being said, we have WildBill's Golf Weather Report coming to you live, remotely as always, from the Royal Birkdale Golf Club, Southport, England. A chip chip to them off to the northwest coast near the Irish Sea, where the 154th Open Championship will continue to make history from across the pond with the Backyard Golf Association from Gainesville, Florida. WildBill signing out. It is time for some traditional Ignis bites as I'm off to get me some jellied eels, some Scotch's eggs, and some appetizers with me fish and chips, my banger and mash, and my dark ale. And I'll finish her off with a shepherd's pie and some bread and butter pudding. And if there's still some room left, I may try a toad in the hole. Woo! Boy, am I famished and parched. Got to get back to you, John. Chip, chip, cheerio, and a woohoo to you, John. Woohoo!
Well, and there you have it, everybody. You've been listening to Mic'd Up on the PGA Tour and the 154th Open Championship from Royal Birkdale, Southport, England, featuring WildBill's Golf Weather Report. I'm your host, Mic'd Up PJ broadcaster John Rager. Visit us everywhere online and on social media at WildBill Stereau and at John Rager PGA. And please remember this, to always carry an umbrella in case it rains. See you next
Woohoo!
week.